This is the EVP Podcast. Yes, welcome back. It is the EVP Podcast with your three co-hosts. I'm DVO.
And I'm Beaker.
And it's me, Ghosty.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Guess who's back? DVO's back.
The trio's in the house.
Happy New Year, you wonderful people.
You butterflies, you?
You butterflies. Happy New Year, butterflies.
Did everyone have a good New Year's?
I hope everyone had a good New Year.
Yeah.
I did.
What did you do?
I worked.
You worked.
I had to work New Year Day. So
How about New Year's Eve?
I was off, but I went to bed at like 10 o'clock at night because I had
Okay.
to get up at 5 in the morning on New Year's Day.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, I didn't do a whole lot.
Ghosty, did you do anything New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve, no. New Year's Day, I brought in the New Year's with a bang. We're just out shooting in the desert.
All right. New Year's Eve, I have a little one, and me and my wife were tired, so we decided to watch the New York Live, which is 2 hours ahead of us.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
So at 10 p.m. local time, we celebrated New Year's, and then we watched the show and went to bed.
Good idea.
What's funny about the ball drop is like they'll show it like at 11 o'clock, and then they'll show it again at midnight for us, and they show
we're
like
just
every
watching
hour
the-
after it drops the initial time. They'll show
true.
like every hour for each time zone in the states.
I wish somewhere local did something cool, like Pennsylvania does a peep drop. It's a giant peep marshmallow that drops.
I think they had some stuff going on.
Idaho has a giant potato.
Let's buy some land.
And
Okay.
drop some shit.
Let's drop a ghost every year.
A floating ghost, and we just
have
drop it down.
Ghost
Yep.
that slowly the ball doesn't even drop though. It like slowly comes down a pole.
Right.
We should let Lars slam down.
Yeah,
Make
we
him
should just
explode.
fucking and we'll fill it with candy.
Like 3, 2, 1, then release it, and then one bang, and it
Yeah.
drops because
Yeah.
of the big anvil.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Happy New Year,
Butterflies.
butterflies. Are we PG this year? Like, is that the new? We're bringing in the new year, and the EVP podcast is now PG.
F that.
Well, no, because we're one of the top-rated inappropriate podcasts.
Yeah.
We were,
And
I'm not on the list.
I've got some notes here, and
we
I'm
on-
going to be saying some bad words. So
I don't think we're on
Perfect.
that list anymore.
We better swear about it.
well, maybe after this episode.
Yeah, mother fluffers.
What should we talk about this episode?
All right, let's.
I hope so.
So we
Let's
did
not talk about a
something-
different one.
Nah, let's do this one.
Let's talk about this episode.
We'll do another one next
We'll
one.
talk about this episode.
we'll
next
talk-
episode.
We'll talk about next episode on next episode.
Yeah, we'll talk about a different episode next time.
But this one, we're talking about what?
We went to a local restaurant. The owners hit me up.
And we got food. It was delicious.
Yeah, not at the restaurant, but we had food at this restaurant, and it is delicious. And they know what we do, and they just kind of told us of some of their employees and some things that were going around. So, should I talk about what the employees said?
Yeah.
Yes,
what
yes.
was the reason we were there?
So they have some employees. All right, let me just lay it out, okay? When you walk into the restaurant, it's a basic dining area and cooking kitchen, but down in the basement is the food prep. That's where they make sauces and they marinate meat and they cut vegetables, right? That's down in the basement. And then also in the basement is a dry storage and cold storage where they have refrigerators to keep, food safe
And the laundry
dry
room.
storage. And there's a laundry room inside of a bathroom.
Which is where we spent most of our time.
Yes. And then your basic HVAC areas for, that stuff. So
Storage.
that's the layout. So
Dry storage. and all that.
employees were saying that when they're down in the basement and they're prepping, and maybe it's early in the morning before the restaurant opens or late at night when it closes and they're doing some prep work, they feel like they hear something upstairs in the kitchen. So they think they hear some things. Also, employees would state that as they're prepping, they feel like someone's watching them or around, like looking at them. Other stories where they heard things on the countertops moving, and from the restaurant and into the kitchen area, there are swinging doors, kind of like a saloon, the saloon doors. And they've heard those doors start swinging. So these are just some of the stories they tell the owners. The owners are like, they don't want to freak them out. And so they're like, no, it's nothing. And granted, there are noises. There's ice machines, there's soda machines, there's refrigeration systems. So these items and appliances do make noises randomly. But they still have like uneasy feelings or feelings of people watching them, and obviously a swinging door would not be from a cold air conditioner or the wind. It's
Furnace turning on.
yeah, those wouldn't come on. So the owners they'd mentioned this to me before in the past, and I said we should have us investigate, but they didn't want us to investigate. And this time they said, okay, we've heard some more stories from employees. Why don't you come in and investigate? We said gladly. So we went at midnight when all the employees had left. They close up around 9 or 10 p.m. on a Saturday night. And the owners just want to make sure the employees were all gone. They didn't want to freak anybody out, or they didn't want anybody to quit because maybe they're superstitious or scared. So they waited till the employees left, and then we came in and investigated with one of the owners. And that's where we begin our investigation, which was pretty interesting. Anybody first want to start off with anything that they kind of felt from the beginning, from pulling into the parking lot, from walking into the restaurant? Either of you two sense anything, feel anything?
Right when we got there, when we were sitting there, I told you where I was feeling the energy in the place. There was like right against this one wall, and I could feel like there was stuff right there. But other than that, that's what I was feeling before we got in there. And then once we got in, that's kind of where I was seeing things.
How about you, Beaker? Any sensitivities or feelings when you just pulling up to the restaurant?
Pulling up to the restaurant, no. I was listening to a podcast that I was like,
You're in the zone.
I hate listen to this podcast.
Okay.
Like, I love the podcast when they do the reenactments. I've talked about this before. It's the Exorcist Files. Great podcast. But there's things that I don't necessarily agree with, and so I hate listen to the interviews. They're very fascinating. But so I was kind of in the zone, and I remember. Do you remember when we got there? I ran over to Ghosty's car and I got him and started bitching about the podcast. I even played a little bit about it for you. So once we got in though, we were in the basement. I'm the one that I think led us to the laundry room where we spent like the first half an hour of the investigation.
Laundry/bathroom.
Yeah. Like we kind of walked around and you guys were checking out some of the dry storage area. I went straight to that bathroom. And
I felt something in the dry storage. That's why I went there. Yeah.
So I know Ghosty felt something in the dry storage too. Like
yeah.
You guys were checking that area and I'm like, I feel something in here. So
yeah, there was.
We were all kind of picking up on like different stuff. So the dry storage or the bathroom laundry room area is where I was getting kind of pulled to the most. And that's when I was trying to describe to you kind of like how it feels for me. Like,
oh yeah.
Where like for me, it's like someone grabbing my sleeve and just like kind of slightly tugging me in a direction.
Like, come over here.
So that's what I was feeling. That's why I went there. And I looked at Ghosty and I said, you know what? I know what you love to do. So let's do it.
Let's put blindfold on.
Let's put a blindfold on. Let's put some headphones on you. I know you don't like to see or hear what's going on. You just like to feel it. So I said, you know what, Ghosty? Let's do that good old Estes method.
Yeah, buddy.
And you're like, hell yeah. Or heck yeah. Sorry, we're PG today. Heck yeah. I want to do that. Let's go to there.
The old creepy Colorado method. Let's do it.
Yeah. And so we did.
That's what we did. And then it was like right off the bat, it was spitting things out right as soon as I was ready to go.
Yeah, we get new listeners all the time, new viewers. Do one of you want to explain what the Estes method is?
Sure do. So the Estes method was created by some people in, I believe, the year of 2017, maybe a little bit earlier than that. Some ghost people that were investigating in Estes Park, Colorado, which is why it's called the Estes method. So the whole point of this is more of like a sensory deprivation thing. Mm-hmm. So what you use is a blindfold, so you cannot see what's going on around you, because some people might be talented in lip reading. So you don't want to know what people around you are asking the spirits. So with the blindfold on, you also get some noise canceling headphones. I have purchased us a pair of some Beats, like $300 like noise canceling headphones. Mm-hmm. When you guys have both used them, when these things are on and you've got either the SP7 or the Echo Box going, you cannot hear shit that's going on around you.
Unless you're talking like right at them, right next to them.
So we like to use, so instead of talking in our normal loud voices like this, I will use kind of a lower tone voice like this. I'll try to, as Ghosty told me one time, take the bass out of my voice. It's not exactly easy to do, but you want to That's wonderful. So while the person is there, we like to use EchoVox. We seem to get a lot of better responses through the EchoVox. We've tried the SB7. It works great for other people, but for us,
Oh, that's me.
the EchoVox seems to work better for us. So that's what we use. The app, the EchoVox app. I believe you can still get it. It's like $35. We use the EchoVox 3.0, and we go from there. So Ghosty puts on the blindfold. Ghosty puts on the headphones. I have him set up the features on the EchoVox, and I really should just like save it like you can do pre-save settings.
Yeah.
Which I have him set it up every time, and I'm never smart enough to be like save. So we get them all set up, we get them ready to go, and instantly, like before we even start asking questions, stuff's just coming out left. And right.
I'm just hearing it.
So basically, what we're doing now that he's blindfolded, now that he's wearing these noise canceling headphones, now that we've got the EchoVox playing, the whole point is we're asking questions. We're trying to investigate like you normally would, but Ghosty or whoever is wearing the equipment cannot see or hear anything that's going on around them. So they're using this white noise that's being created by the SB7 or the EchoVox to tell us what they're hearing, what they think the spirits are saying. And a lot of the times, like when you're investigating and you're using the SB7 or you're using the EchoVox, pareidolia might kick in, and you might hear things that you think you're hearing because of like the questions you're asking. Mm-hmm. You're going to be looking for the answers to the questions you're asking. Now, when Ghosty has no idea what the hell we're asking, he's just going to say whatever he thinks he hears in the EchoVox or the SB7, whatever device you're using. And like I said, right from the get-go, he just started spitting words out.
I mean, there were sentences.
Full-on sentences.
It wasn't even just words. It was like word after word after word. So, and then they all, lined up as, it made sense. But it was weird because then there would go times where there was just chatter and no words being made out of anything, or quiet, so, big moments of pauses, and then all of a sudden just spitting out more words and more sentences.
And maybe you're watching or listening thinking, what type of sentences?
Well, you're in luck.
So we did this session for 40 minutes.
40 minutes. I thought it was a half an hour. Just real quick.
Yeah.
While I was explaining the SS method, if there was any feedback from the microphones, we apologize. We were off for 2 weeks, and the stuff was kind of pushed to the side. So we were having a little bit of technical difficulties. If there was no feedback, then disregard this message.
But there's a little bit on our end, and we got it fixed. So it was actually 39 minutes of a recording, and I spent a good couple hours transcribing this, and it was interesting because of how much sentences were coming out.
Oh, yeah.
And how relevant they were to some questions sometimes. Now I didn't write every single word, but I did write the significant ones.
But for us, like, getting a full sentence is very rare.
That's true.
We were getting a lot. Like, normally it's like a word here or there, but to get a full sentence is, during this, like, it's very rare. For at least us, anyways. I don't know if other groups have had different experiences getting full sentences, but for us, it's pretty rare.
Or if your sentences are like, they're spaced, where it's like one word, then spaced out for a little bit, then another word. But this was just like, they were just boom,
back to back. Yeah. So I'll start reading some of these, and either of you two, if you remember something from this moment or want to interject with anything, just go ahead and pause me. But one of the first questions we asked was, well, let me lay out the area too. So we're in this laundry/bathroom. When you walk in, directly in front of you is the sink, and then next to that is a washer and dryer, and then a toilet, and then opposite of the wall is a shower. And Ghosty was sitting against that wall next to the shower. One of the first things I asked was, is someone in the shower? And he responds, someone in here now. And then Ghosty just started saying this, come here. Beaker says, where's here? He says, bedroom, with me. So, like, these are just like responses. So Ghosty hasn't watched this.
He has no idea how the conversation
because Ghosty was just saying what he heard. So he doesn't see how this is actually relevant to our questions.
This is all new to him.
Ghosty said a couple names. He said Sawyer, and he said David a couple times. So I asked the question, is Sawyer or David in the shower? Ghosty responds, Sawyer, him. So I'm going to interject here. This whole time, I'm thinking there's a spirit named Sawyer in the shower. And this whole time that we're doing this, I'm thinking that. Somewhere in here...
So I got the feeling that Sawyer was like in the room behind us. Like in one of the dry storages.
In my head, I'm thinking Sawyer's in the shower. But at some point, Beaker, you say it's not him. I'm getting the name Anna or Isabel.
Yes.
Later in the night, I asked Ghosty, I'm like, hey, do you think it was Sawyer or David? Now, again, Beaker just brought this up while doing this Estes method. Later in the night, when we're not doing it, I asked Ghosty, and I said, do you think it was Sawyer or David in the shower? And he's like, no, it was a girl in the shower. So you both felt a presence of, there's a female spirit in the shower. But during the Estes method, I thought it was one of these guys who said their name was in the shower. So that was pretty interesting. Later on, I don't remember if it was me or Beaker who asked this question, but we asked, who is David? And then Ghosty says, he is the son. Beaker does say, the son of who? Ghosty said, Sawyer. That was free.
I do remember saying that.
I remember that part. That was free. It's like, thank you.
Yeah. Then I asked, who's in this other room? And I kind of point to the wall, and then Ghosty says, Humphrey. But you heard two voices say the word Humphrey. Isn't that right? Is that what you told me?
Yeah.
You heard two different voices say Humphrey at the same time.
Yeah. I've never heard that come through on the Echo Vox before, where two voices say the same thing in concession. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. And then one of us asked, does Humphrey want to join us? And then Ghosty said, he's the son of Mark. So, we don't know who these gentlemen are, but we heard these names. And then Beaker was fumbling with his voice recorder. What were you trying to do? Trying to turn it on, or what was going on?
So I had accidentally put the hold on it. There's a little switch on the side. If you put it on hold, you cannot do anything. So basically what you want to do, the whole purpose of this feature is you start recording, right?
Uh-huh.
You put it on hold, that way you can't accidentally stop recording, or you can't accidentally start recording, or whatever. It makes it so none of the functions work.
Okay.
So the hold switch got turned on some point in the night before I pulled my recorder out, and I'm sitting there trying to turn it on. Uh-huh. And I can't get it to turn on, so I'm like, okay, the hold's probably on, but it's fucking dark, freaking dark. It is flipping dark. And I can't see the hold switch to turn it off to turn on my audio recorder. So I think I was asking you for a flashlight so I could get my recorder to work.
And then all of a sudden, Ghosty says, it's broken.
As I'm fumbling with my audio recorder trying to get it to turn on.
That's funny.
All right, then next one. One of us asked, is Humphrey... is Humphrey in this other room? We asked this again. And then Ghosty said, he's never inside. Beaker says, where is he? And Ghosty said, in the house. So these are just full, answering our questions. Just answering our questions. And then Ghosty all of a sudden says, no, sometimes there's pauses. But Ghosty says, hide. Beaker says, who are you telling to hide? Are you telling us to hide? And then Ghosty said, from the intruders. So we're getting responses from questions during this Estes method.
Well, he kept saying hide and run throughout the entire night. He kept saying you need to hide.
In fact, you said that. I actually wrote 5 words that Ghosty would just randomly say that were kind of came common. That was run, hide, leave, horror, and rotten. Those words just kind of came up quite often.
Well, rotten started coming up a little bit later when I asked a specific question. I don't know if you got that in your notes there or not.
No, maybe not. So maybe you can interject a little bit later. Okay, and then Ghosty started saying, Humphrey. Oh, actually, I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to interject. At this point, you tell me if you guys feel anything. That I started getting the impression, tell me if you think otherwise, that as we're trying to communicate, other spirits realized this and started joining us. And I almost felt like there was a line, and they wanted to start telling us their stories.
That's kind of what it seemed like when I was saying things. It seemed like it had to do with a certain situation, and then it would change situations. It would be a lot of stuff just about that certain situation. So, yeah, I could definitely see how.
Yeah, because
It was like
I didn't
different-
feel like there was a line. I feel like it was a crowded room and everyone was just trying to shout all at once.
That's what it
oh yeah,
sounded
there's
like.
definitely some of that.
But then, like certain ones would come to the forefront, and you could hear that.
So I kind of felt like Ghosty was telling us, or they were telling Ghosty their stories, and here's one.
Okay, so before that,
Yeah.
I think this is before that. This is
Please.
where the word rotten started coming in.
Yeah,
because
go
he
ahead.
Talked about hiding from the intruders in the house.
Oh, got it.
And I had asked, like, did something bad happen in the house? And Ghosty had mentioned something about the master.
Oh, uh-huh.
I don't know if you remember that or if you
Yes.
had it written down there.
I didn't write it down, but yeah, I remember hearing it.
And I was asking about the master, like, who's the master? I'm like, did someone in the house nearby do some stuff they shouldn't have? They like summoned something, and that's when he was like, yes. He's like naughty, rotten,
Yeah.
and then rotten just kept coming through after that. Because I was just kind of following my intuition and also going off of like the information he was giving us. So I felt like that in a house nearby, someone was conducting some sort of ritual or something, and that's kind of why I asked the question, leaning into the whole master thing, and that when they talked about in the house, that's why I said something like, did they do something they're not supposed to, and did the master do something they're not supposed to? I think is the question. I have to go back and listen to it, but that's when he started saying like rotten, nasty, or naughty, stuff like
okay.
that.
So Ghosty started saying just words, and they kind of make a story. So I'll say this one: Humphrey, her, wife, his stepwife, they fell, couple was dead, the police, found dead, in here, need to go out, run far, please, wait, please hold, for it. Go. Trust me. Be fine. Wait. You will come. Proof of prison. Prison will come up later, by the way. But, yeah, like it feels like a story, does it not? I mean,
Yeah,
obviously
kinda,
kind of
yeah.
broken up and choppy, but
I do remember saying stepwife and going, "What the hell's a stepwife?"
yeah.
That's a very good question.
But unless it was like kind of mixing up words with step, like fell, and like maybe fell off a step, and the wife maybe died, and maybe they were getting blamed for something. I don't know.
Yeah, and then they went to prison for it. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
crazy stuff.
Yeah. But it's like a whole story. And then Ghosty said my full name, first and last name. And then it said, go. Out. Surprise me, bitch. So I'm like, are they calling me out? I'm like, why are you so angry? They didn't respond. I was like, why are you so angry? Are you mad? What's going on? Beaker then asked a little bit later, can you tell me what I found in the other room? And then I'll say what it says. Bolt. Don't say nothing. Smoke. Stay put. I am. We wake up her. And it's kind of like sound like two spirits were talking, or one was talking to the other one. They were
Yeah,
responding.
there was like a conversation
don't say
going on
nothing.
between the spirits.
Smoke. Stay put. Yeah. So it was pretty interesting. All right. Then Ghosty says, mouse. Psst, psst.
So just to clarify, the whole thing,
Yeah.
every now and then Echo Vox will make that noise, and it happens not a lot, but often enough that I recognize that when it happens. So when you were saying that, that's what I assumed was going on.
No, this was actually a voice in the Echo Vox, like one of the normal voices. It was one of the female voices, and she actually went pss, 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 like calling a cat. I've heard that sound before, where it's like almost like a staticky, just a static clip, and it's
Yeah.
like ksh, 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 ksh.
Yeah.
I've heard that. This was like the female voice going pss, 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 like calling
Yeah,
a
so when I
cat.
heard you doing that, I just chalked it up to like, because sometimes the Echo Vox will be like, make a kind of noise.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
that's what I assumed it was.
Yeah, and I've never heard it do that before. And this was actually, and I've never heard it do the two voices over each other before,
I
saying the
haven't
same
heard that
thing.
either. No.
And then I know you're going to come up to it, but the part where that it whispered to me was,
Oh, yeah. So So you said mouse. Psst, psst, psst. Ask for film, cats. The owner later told me lots of cats come around the building. A lot of cats come around. So I don't know if the spirits play with the cats or want,
or like former people that used to do business there had relations with some of those cats, like they would just feed them all the time, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, and then here's like another story that started coming through. So this is all Ghosty just saying what he hears.
And you guys didn't even ask anything, right?
There was times, you just started going, so we just kind of like let it happen.
Yeah, that's why I said it felt like they just wanted to step up and tell their story. So this one said, before began to build this gosh damn from the top goes fall her. And then the Ovilus brought up monument and tool. So I don't know, were they building something and they fell? Another story? I don't know. Okay, this one. All right, this one's a long one. This is just Ghosty going off what he hears. And we would kind of ask some questions while he's talking, but they didn't really answer us. They just kept going like with their story. Bathroom. Home. We get ouch. My leg. Killed. Broken. Need doctor. Had to scramble past medics. That's a long sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you said that one, I was like, what?
Every time I'm pausing is because Ghosty paused. But that one had to scramble past medics. Long sentence.
Yeah.
To what works? Can anyone take my place? They laid me. Will someone? Nurse. Is this station? Hold here. Lock. Speak beyond others' tombs. Walls. Big white noise. Ask her. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Big White Noise is my nickname. Okay. So they were asking me to ask somebody. I have no idea. That's just
But I don't know if that's one or two stories coming in or what. But that they're saying their leg was killing them. It was broken. They needed a doctor. They had to scramble past the medics. They asked if someone could take their place. They got laid down. They need a nurse. Like, man, that's a lot.
Yeah, and it all kind of had to do with something with their leg and needing help.
Yeah. All right, another session here. Beaker asks, does anyone like going up in the kitchen? Or, yeah, one of us asked anyway. Ghosty says, he's in there. Speak. They hold for the bitch. Where's the bitch? Girl in hood. What's in her head? And then one of the owners that was with us, she's a female that was wearing a coat with a hood.
Yeah, when I heard him say girl with hood, I looked over at her and she like kind of turned and showed me the hood on her jacket, and I was like, okay.
I don't know if the spirits like her or think she's a bitch. I don't know. But it was interesting. I mean, that was a lot.
It was.
And some of those are sentences. They hold for the bitch. Where's the bitch? Girl in hood. Like,
oh my
wow. Are they like answering each other? I mean, is it like two spirits answering each other? I don't know. It's very interesting. Beaker asked, what am I holding? How does this make you feel? What were you holding, by the way?
It was a piece of obsidian.
Okay. So what am I holding? How does this make you feel? And then Ghosty started answering, you're in it now. Come with me. So if I go put this in the other room. Oh, then Beaker said, so if I go to put this in the other room, and then it answers, yeah, walk with one another. And then it said his name. Beaker. Not Beaker, but it says his name.
It said my name as I was walking.
And then that says you're leaving the room.
Because it's like I started leaving the room, and it's like they were trying to call me back in, like telling me not to. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, don't put that in there. Okay, and then here's
So I felt like I had found a portal in the other room, and I was gonna go put the obsidian near the portal. And when I started walking away, that's when it started like saying my name.
Yeah, I didn't write this down, but at some point it did say find the hole.
Yes, it did. So
Ghosty said find the hole, and Beaker's already kind of sensing. Oh, you actually said I'm trying or something like that. Then here's like another story. So Ghosty starts talking. Who's back home? Date. Prison. With all the guys. Lots. They're stealing food. Crowd. Come. Cold. Speak. Friend. priest, sweet, peace, rape. So those are some words that came through.
So you said speak friend. I instantly went to Lord of the Rings when they're at the Mines of Moria, and it's like speak friend and enter.
In Elfish. And
like
then,
Lord of the Rings fans up in here.
I just watched it 2 weeks ago. The first movie. All right. And then this is the last one here. Another story, by the way. And I think this is all Ghosty speaking. Let me just look real quick. Yeah. Okay, here we go. She's attached. It's his house. I woke up wrapped in clothes.
Yeah, that was a lot.
I was robbed to death. It's common. Lost. Weeped. It's all. We're gonna get out. Busted out of. And that's where we ended it there. But like 3 or 4 like stories. You're like being told stories, I felt like, of what happened to them. That's the impression I was getting. I don't know how you were feeling hearing those voices. You did say it sounded like multiple voices were trying to talk to you.
So there was a time when you did mention about I ended up getting my name whispered to me. And it was like only in one ear. That kind of startled me.
Yeah, you kind of jolted.
But then we ended up... I did feel like there was one point where somebody was off to my left and right in front of me.
So you can sense somebody like right next to you and right in front of you?
Yeah, like I felt like somebody had like walked around me and was like one of you guys and had like came around over to this side or in front of me. But
also during the SS method, Beaker saw somebody walk past the door frame, right?
I did, yes.
Yeah. Was it like a shadow or like a...
It was like a shadow, and I saw it walking towards like the dry storage, which is where I thought the portal was.
Got it. And then I was by the door, and where Ghosty's sitting on the chair next to him, like we said, is the shower. The shower has a glass door, so if you know showers with glass doors, there's it's usually a metal frame, like a steel metal frame, and I've kind of sensed like I could see looking in like a reflection, I could see things moving in the other room, and I would. The owner was at the door, so if she moved, it could have been her. So I kind of put my hand out just to kind of see where the reflection would come from, and it would have been way above her head. So I don't think, and she's a little shorter thing.
Yes.
So I don't think it was her moving. I think I was catching reflections.
Because it was happening even when she wasn't moving.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about when you went to the dry storage or anything else you want to talk about next?
So, yeah, I went over to the dry storage, and I said, you know what, Ghosty, let's do some more Estes method. And he's like, heck yes.
So you guys did that. Me and the owner stayed in the bathroom / laundry room, but do you guys want to talk about that?
So I did get my audio recorder, brought it in there. I started recording on my watch as well, so I haven't gone through that yet. But some of the stuff I do remember is he had... Ghosty had said something... that was relevant to like what was going on at the time. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember like, hey, Devio, come check this out. And as you came in the room, it said like best man, which you were at his wedding.
At Ghosty's wedding. Both of his.
It's God, I can't remember. He said something like when I was getting you, it was like arriving. It said something similar to that. I have to go back and listen to it. I just have been busy.
And then it said best man.
It did say best man, but yeah, it said something like when you were coming in the room. It like he had no idea you were in the room, and he like had said something about you coming in the room, and we went for a little bit until Ghosty felt something.
Yeah, so this startled the hell out of me. It felt like you had leaned up against the back of my chair and put your weight on it, and it shifted my chair back. And I had asked, is somebody touching my chair right now? And I said no, and yeah, I jolted up because I was like, whoa.
Yeah, you threw off the headphone, the blindfolds, and you looked, and we were standing probably about 2 feet away from you.
Yeah.
And you're like, did you just touch my chair? And I'm like, nope, we were standing here exactly like this.
Because, like, even though I can't see you or hear you, if somebody approaches you, for some reason you can feel that presence. and I didn't feel any of you approach, and I didn't know you were in there. And
I just walked in, by the
Yeah,
way.
he'd only been in there for like 30 seconds.
yeah, and so when that happened, yeah, that kind of freaked me out.
But before I got you and said, "Hey, come here, check this out," you had actually saw something in the laundry room.
Yeah, so yeah, we're in that laundry bathroom, and now when they went to dry storage, I then sat in the chair next to the shower, and we've had a K2 on the washer this whole time. Nothing, it never beeped or anything. And I'm like, "Hey, are you in here?" And I knocked on the shower door. I'm like, feel free to come out." And I said, and then I started saying, like, "Is this bothering you if I'm knocking on the shower door?" Because it was a glass door. I was like, is this bothering you? I kept knocking. I'm like, well, if this is bothering you, I'll stop if you make that K2 meter light up. And I would just kind of randomly knock on the bathroom door. And then after a while, it did kind of beep. And it didn't go, I don't think it went, because again, it starts at green. It goes to green, yellow, orange, red. It just stayed within green and yellow. It didn't like go any higher than that. But I did stop. I was like, okay, well, all right, I'll stop then.
You mind, we had this there for a good half an hour before it started picking up anything. So I don't think there was any like outside interference or any electronics or anything that was setting it off.
Right. So we were in the bathroom, laundry room, and dry storage. The lights were off there. The lights were on in the prep area of the basement. So where the prep area is, where the cooks prep the food, those lights were on, however. So I'm sitting in that chair, and the owner's with me, and she's kneeling down. So she's like squatting down by the sink, and I'm just kind of looking. I'm just kind of looking around, just sitting there, and then I just see the shadow get cast along the whole wall and door, and that means from where the shadow was coming from, it was coming from in the prep area. Now I didn't hear where they were because they're in the dry storage. Beaker's not talking loud, or else Ghosty will hear him. So Beaker's talking quietly. So I don't know where they're at. So I can't hear them very well. So I just kind of see this shadow, and I automatically think it's one of them. And I don't think about it. And I'm like, but where? And I keep thinking about like, this big shadow that just got cast over. By the way, Beaker would leave and come out of the bathroom once in a while. And Beaker would block out the light, and he would cast a shadow as he would walk in and out.
Almost as if I'm as big as a doorway.
Big white noise. Big white
Big
noise.
white noise walking through the doorway.
So I just think, because this happened a couple times where I'm like, Beaker, you're blocking out all the light as I'm trying to record.
Yeah, I did
doing
stand
that.
in the doorway one time. When you're like, go stand over there.
So as I see this big shadow get cast upon the wall and the door, I'm kind of thinking they're walking around.
Big white thunder's coming through.
Yeah. And I'm like, but I don't hear them talking or anything like that. I'm like, where are they? So I step out and I go into the prep area and I don't see anything. And I come back around and then I see Beaker there. And then he summons
Hey,
me.
Beaker, show me that big black shadow of yours.
So something cast a big shadow all over the wall and the door.
He's like, how long have you been here? I'm like, a couple minutes. I'm doing Estes method.
Yeah. Because I was like, did he just kind of do a lap and just walk back in? And he was like, no, I've been here the whole time. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, after Ghosty got his butt grabbed, I think we decided we headed on upstairs to see if we could figure out.
Oh, before that, something interesting did happen.
What?
You put the Ovilus in the hallway.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so you're coming out. You both are coming out of the dry storage. You put the Ovilus in the hallway. We're coming out of the bathroom laundry room. I'm taking the chair. I'm gonna put the chair back. And the owner says, do you want me to take it? I'm like, yeah, sure. You know where it goes. Well, I'll let you take it. She walks down the hallway past the Ovilus, and it says seat.
That's pretty.
And
cool.
then she goes in the dry storage to put the chair down. And I said, oh, I'm like, funny. It says seat, and then it said Grandpa. And the owner says, does Grandpa want to have a seat? And then we heard the chair that she just put in the dry storage. We heard it made a noise. We heard it make a noise. I'm like, did you hear that? And she goes, yeah. So we went in there, and the leg of the chair is right against the leg of the table. And I'm like, well, maybe she didn't set it down right because it's dark. And she put it down. Maybe she didn't set it down right, and then the chair kind of slid down. We played with that chair and table leg for quite a while, trying to debunk it. We could not debunk it.
So yeah, you couldn't get it to just sit on the leg of the table, like just barely on, to where it would eventually slide off. Like it would just either slide off or it was on there and it wasn't moving on its own.
Right.
So there was no in between.
No, it was. So, can we say a spirit touched the chair, sat in the chair? No, but it was pretty.
We can say it. Is it true? We don't know.
Right. That's true.
We can say it all we want. A ghost sat in the chair. Grandpa came and sat down.
But yeah, then we did head upstairs.
But I didn't feel much up there.
No, there was someone that did come upstairs.
Someone followed us up.
A spirit did follow us upstairs and was watching us.
But nothing probably
But
hangs
really
out upstairs, right?
No.
I'm guessing they just probably get bored in the basement. They just come upstairs and then go back down.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they come up, but none were like hanging out while we were there.
Yeah, so if you ever eat at this restaurant, you don't. I mean, we're not going to say the name of it, but you don't.
So you're not going to know if you're eating at a haunted restaurant or not.
Well, every restaurant is probably haunted.
All of the restaurants are haunted. If for whatever reason you are able to figure out where we went, do not bother them. Please, just go eat the food, but don't ask to investigate.
Well, because you both said there's probably one or two that hang out there often, but they're not there 24 hours a day,
No,
right?
he said there was one or two that hang out there.
I said there's 2 that hang out there constantly.
Mm-hmm.
I said there's 7. They rotate. They take turns.
Oh, yeah, right. There's probably a lot. Yeah, there's probably a lot that come and go, and it's where it's at. I mean, would you guys agree that probably spirits also just kind of randomly wander in there and then leave?
That's what
Quite
was
possibly.
coming through.
There is a lot of businesses nearby.
And that's why I said
It's on a
every
busy
And there's a
and that's
lot
why
of
I'm saying
houses
there's
nearby.
It's probably every restaurant, right? Because there's restaurants nearby. I'm sure those restaurants also get visiting spirits. It doesn't mean it's haunted or they're haunting the place.
There's also a portal nearby.
Which you closed.
The one in the building, yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it. But it was funny.
There's only one in the building. There is another portal nearby.
Okay. One of the other owner, there's 2 owners of the restaurant. The other owner asked me actually the next day. They talked to me and said, "Yeah, I heard what happened." He's like, "It was pretty interesting." He said, "Let me ask you this: on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being so scary, so spooky, so haunted, how would you rate the restaurant?"
Easy 2.
I was I said this is exactly what I said. I said like a 1 or 2. They said, "Oh, okay." I'm like, yeah, you gotta remember, not every spirit is an evil spirit like they have on movies and ghosts and poltergeists where they're gonna flip all your chairs upside down and move things around. They might, if your cook's saying they feel a presence, yeah, they're probably just kind of checking out what they're doing, and then they go back into their corner and hide. They're probably not. They're just curious, and they're not trying to spook anyone or cause mischief. They're just curious, and then they go back to their corner. Is that how you kind of feel what the spirits do?
Right.
And now let's give you the Hollywood version of our investigation. Okay. Ghosty went wild, saying he was going to murder all of us and
Flipped
told us
upside down.
He was possessed.
he was going to get his stepwife to kill us
I was floating above the chair.
twice. Levitation.
He was
is a
possessed
thing.
by a prisoner
Got thrown against the wall.
That
was
did a
raped.
robbery
that was raped in jail.
I got
while
raped in
robbing
the shower by a succubus.
while robbing somebody of their cigarettes.
Broke their legs.
And he tried to scramble past the medics.
But
The end.
That's a good one. It's a good movie.
yeah, that was our
It's called Scared and Fascinated in Prison.
Scared and Fascinated from restaurant to prison. From prison to table.
And back again.
Well, that was our little adventure for
And these are
the
our
last
ghost
of
event.
our
Don't
last
sue us.
weekend. All right, should we call that an
We
episode?
could. We should.
We should.
And we shall.
But before we do that, check out our social media, evp.pod at Facebook and Instagram. If you have a story you'd like to share with us, hit us up at evp.pod@gmail.com. If you do share a story with us, let us know in the subject line whether or not you want it to be for just us or if you want us to share it on the episodes. And then after you do that, check out our affiliate link to ghoststop.com. That's where we buy our ghost hunting gear.
And this cool pen you've been playing with.
You should buy it as well for those of you watching on Spotify and YouTube. I think this was a free gift that came with it. The logo's on there somewhere. It is a flashlight pen. So it turns on.
And stylus.
Badoop. It's a pen. It's a flashlight. It does all the things.
And a stylus.
And a stylus, apparently. Oh, yeah, it is a stylus.
And a dilly.
Yeah, sure, that too. So, yeah, ghoststop.com. Check out our affiliate link and, buy the gear. They got some cool new stuff. They just came out with a new piece
I
of
saw
equipment.
some ads. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, I saw their Instagram, and I have to go look at what they've got, because I saw they posted some new stuff they created.
Yes, and then that's all.
Ghost, you don't play that.
Peace out, butterflies.
Big White Noise and DVO out.